The Texans hold on to beat the Jaguars 13-12. Let's do this. Give me one or two words to describe this game, and I'll write them here on the whiteboard, and then we'll decide which entry truly sums up a 13-12 win over the Jaguars. While you're typing, let me give you some stats on this game. Deshaun Watson, 16 of 29 for a $159, no touchdown passes. Carlos Hyde. Wow, huh? He's really contributed something. I don't think most Texans fans had a lot of high expectations, but he averaged nearly 5 yards a carry, 4.5, 90 yards on 20 carries. That will get the job done. And the receiving core, DeAndre Hopkins, 5 catches, Will Fuller, 4 catches. Kenny Stills had 2 catches in this 13-12 win. The Texans scoring 3 in the first quarter, 2 in the third. 3 in the second quarter, I should say, and then a touchdown in the fourth. The Jaguars with that 9-point fourth quarter. Gardner Minshew. I was worried that the Texans might get Minshew'd there at the end. But let's see if we can get any submissions here. Do we have any submissions yet?
Yep, we've got some words.
Okay. One or two words? 2 words? Should we do 2 words, Lisa?
Sure.
I think I said 2 words, so.
Juan says flabbergasting.
Flabbergasting. Hold on.
We have a bunch.
All right, we got flabbergasted.
Cindy says lucky.
Lucky. That's a good one. Let me see here if I can. There we go. I'm going to add this one. How about this one? They survived. They survived. I think that's a good one. Also, always looking for questions to ask Seth Payne, former Texan from Sports Radio 610, tonight on Sports Extra. So he will, if we get any good questions, we can ask him tonight at 10:30 on Sports Extra. Any other good ones here? I cannot get our,
Vanessa says semi-heart attack. That's 3 words, but.
How about just heart attack? I think the defense, right? People have to be encouraged by the defensive performance. The Texans, listen, I think going into this game, I have to believe that they thought this would be a slugfest from a defensive standpoint. Jacksonville, say what you want about Jacksonville, but they do have a really good defense. I would imagine, and I think they mentioned this on the radio broadcast, that Bill O'Brien looks at this as a top 5 defense on the other side. The Jaguars, one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. Yeah, for some reason I can't get that. I can't get that stream so I can read the comments, Lisa. But oh well.
Well, I've got more if you need them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Christina says nail biting.
Nail biter. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
Elena says terrifying.
Terrifying. Did anyone notice on the broadcast on CBS right here on KHOU 11 that on that final offensive possession for the Jaguars, the announcers mentioned Larry is chiming in. Hold on, how did you spell that? A slobber knocker. That's old school, man. Keith Jackson, a slobber knocker. Yeah, this is Keith Jackson, an old slobber knocker. That's a good one. All righty. But as I was saying, that last drive, did you notice how the Andrew Catalon and James Lofton were mentioning about the Texans? They didn't like the way they were playing the receivers. They were giving them too much cushion. And where did we hear that before? Saints game, right? That's something that will certainly have to be looked at moving forward. You don't know if it's the coaching, the alignment, or the players not lining up in the proper place. And you got the sense that for the most part, the last game, at least one guy, Aaron Colvin, wasn't lined up properly on that last Saints drive. Of course, the Saints then later kicking the game-winning field goal from 58 yards. So let's see here. So we've got flabbergasted, lucky. I wrote they survived, heart attack, nail biter, terrifying, and Larry with a great one, slobber knocker.
We've got some comments. I think we've got a question.
Okay.
A couple questions for Seth, probably tonight and for you.
Okay.
Mary is asking, why did the offense look so good last week? This week it looks like a different team. And why didn't we call a timeout at the end of the second quarter to rush and maybe score a touchdown?
Yeah, that's the timeout situation is definitely something I imagine we'll talk about tonight on Sports Extra. I think one of Bill O'Brien's one thing that he gets criticized a lot about is his time management at the ends of games and at the ends of halves. And I think that, again, that's a situation that, yeah, I'm curious why he had those timeouts to burn to give his offense better opportunity to put 6 on the board. I don't know, but that's a good question. And what was the first one? Oh, why did they look so distinctly different offensively? I think it's quite possible that just Jacksonville has a better defense than New Orleans. Plus, you got to remember, you're facing a team, Jacksonville, that sees you twice a year. So they're certainly well versed on your tendencies, and I think that sometimes that might have something to do with it as well. So, but we'll try. We'll see if Seth Payne can answer those tonight on Sports Extra.
We've got a couple more words. Theo says miracle.
Miracle. Not quite like the 1980 United States hockey team, but we'll put a miracle there. Oh, here we go. I got it now. Offense was sluggish. Wanda says, wouldn't be a Texans game without drama. Oh, no, it wouldn't be, right? Right? Statistically improbable. Mike says, I don't care what anyone says. I'm a fan of O'Brien, but that was hard to watch. There is, you go to New Orleans, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's no way you go to New Orleans and go toe-to-toe with the team, pass interference, call away from the Super Bowl, and then play Jacksonville and scrape by. The defense needs help. Again, I think that because the Texans see Jacksonville, that was Mike saying that. I don't think O'Brien's a bad coach. No, I think he could certainly get worse. We've seen worse in the National Football League. I think not to go back to the New Orleans game, but I think if you told O'Brien you're going to have a lead with very few seconds on the clock and you're forcing New Orleans to kick a 58-yard field goal to win, I think 9 out of 10 times he would take that scenario. That would just be my guess. But again, it's possible that because Jacksonville knows Houston and sees them twice a year, that perhaps that has something to do with this as well. Martin says unacceptable. Statistically improbable? I don't know about that one, but I appreciate the submission here. Nelda says I'm a happy camper because both of my Texas teams won. Ella says offense, please protect our quarterback. Defense, please step up to the plate. No team's scared of our defense anymore. We will take win. Yes, we will take a win. Houston will. It's way better than being 0-2. And, of course, when you look at the schedule, the most important games are the ones in your division. I mean, that's no great secret. So are you seeing anything that I'm not seeing, Lisa?
No. Looking
Okay.
at the same comments, same things.
So how would we grade this offense today? I would give it I think I'd probably give it a C+. Right? I mean, when you eke out a win like that, I'd give it a C+. Deshaun certainly will always keep you in the game, whether it's a low-scoring affair or a high-scoring game. Hopefully Laramie Tunsil, hopefully Laramie Tunsil's okay. He had a bit of an issue. I got a C- here. Someone gave us a D. D+. But a win is a win, right? Like, a month from now, you're just going to look back and you're going to say, okay, this was a win. But Gardner Minshew, he's a pretty good-looking young quarterback. And sometimes you get these guys, fifth, sixth rounders. And it always amazes me, some of these guys, how they can come into the league, and some people think they're too short or they don't have a strong enough arm or whatever, and they play with their hair on fire. And he's a guy that down the line he might turn out to be okay, more than okay actually. Let's see. Offense was sluggish. We got that. A winner, B-. Okay, I get that. I see that. When you win. Lisa writes, relieved. Jason says, B.O.B. Bill O'Brien needs a serious lesson in clock management. It's horrible. And that is something that has been said from the day he stepped into Houston, right? It doesn't seem like it gets any better. So we had relieved. Tammy says, I asked earlier, why are the announcers always against the Texans? Here's the thing. Everyone always thinks that the announcers are against their team. So I don't know if I necessarily agree with that one. I think knowing a lot of play-by-play guys, they'll always tell you that everyone always thinks, especially at the national level, that everyone always thinks they're against your team. They're not. Clinton says, don't sugarcoat it. They were lucky to win, not aggressive like they were last week. Certainly. Will Fuller, Alexander says, Will Fuller does not have hands. Seriously, this is a league that has evolved to one-handed catchers. And that dude, I imagine, couldn't catch if he had three hands. I actually think he's gotten better. I think, when he first came in the league, it was like a 50-50 proposition whether he'd haul in a football. But I think his hands have gotten a lot better. Are they the best in the league? Are they DeAndre Hopkins? No. But I think he's much more of a threat than he was. Joe's happy because the Niners won. I know someone in our newsroom who won't be happy about that. Yeah, he's a Bengals fan. Yeah. Robin says, I can't take an entire season of 1-point games. Well, it might be what you're in for when you consider this defense and this potentially high-scoring offense. And this team could be hovering around 500, maybe 9-7. That's what some of us had for our fearless predictions on Countdown to Kickoff. F on the if you believe in luck and miracles as opposed to hard work, so we have an F. Alexander says they have not gotten better. Okay, all right. That's everybody has their opinion. I respect that opinion. Lupe says need new coaches. Now that your coach is the GM, I don't think that's going to happen at this point. Excuse me, de facto GM. A win is a win, ugly or not, James. James says Fuller is a great second option, but the Cowboys won. Yes, certainly there will be a lot of people happy about that. Did you guys see Questenberry caught a touchdown pass for the Titans today, right? Questenberry played for the Texans, cancer fighter, cancer survivor, and he catches a touchdown pass. He was one of those tackle lineman eligible plays. I think the Texans played better Monday night. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. A win is a win from Maria. Love my boys win or lose, but a win is extra. I'm gonna ask Seth tonight, Seth Payne on Sports Radio, from Sports Radio 610 on Sports Extra, if this was merely a situation where you have a team that's used to seeing another team, and that is why the Texans played the way they did, because of that Jacksonville defense is used to seeing Houston twice a year. So let's see here. How's everyone feeling about the Chargers next week? 4:25 start right here on, 3:25 start because they put it on Eastern Standard Time. 3:25 start here on KHOU 11. That's going to be interesting. We saw how the Texans defended a high-powered quarterback like Drew Brees. They will not be able to play that kind of defense against Phillip Rivers. Now, granted, Rivers doesn't have quite the weapons that a Drew Brees has, but it'll be interesting to see how many times we see three-man fronts and that kind of thing against Phillip Rivers, because I think it's pretty obvious that the Texans in that game against New Orleans did not trust its secondary, and that's why they had to drop extra guys in coverage, and that's why they were left oftentimes with that three-man front. So let's see. Some more grades coming in. Let's see here. Danielle says, what are my score predictions? Ooh, I don't even know at this point. I'm going to have to think about that one. That's a tough one at this point. I think the Texans can go and beat the Chargers out there. I really do. All right, so what do we have here? We have flabbergasted, lucky, they survived, heart attack, nail biter, terrifying, slobber knocker, miracle, unacceptable, and relieved. Should we take a straw poll from the people here? What term that we like the best, or which word? Or should we...
I like lucky.
You like lucky, huh? You like lucky. Whew. I think I'm between lucky and slobber knocker.
Fortuitous.
Fortuitous. That means I got to spell that, Larry. No, I'm kidding.
I'll go for slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker. Oh man, we got 2 slobber knockers and a lucky, right? Because you submitted slobber knocker, so I'm guessing that. Let's see. Good therapy, Jason. Thanks for doing this live broadcast after this game. No problem, Martin. I appreciate you checking in, man. I think we'll just call it a tie. I don't know if they were lucky. Well, I wasn't crazy about, from a Jacksonville perspective, and I know you have Leonard Fournette, but I was surprised that they just ran it up the middle like that with him. I would have thought that the Texans would think, okay, they're going to go Fournette. They're going to go Fournette. Let's do a little play action. But what does slobber knocker even mean? That's what we got. What does slobber knocker even mean? Come on, Larry, what's slobber knocker? So slobber knocker was a famous phrase by Keith Jackson, legendary college football play-by-play announcer.
Very physical, smash-mouth football game.
Yep. Physical, smash-mouth football game. Yeah. That's what slobber knocker. Jason says, I agree. Thanks for talking it out and letting us vent. No problem. All right, so Terry says lucky. Man. Nail biter's good, although that's more of a fact than an opinion.
Mm-hmm. 1 and 1.
1 and 1.
He doesn't like ties.
Well, this is like it's not a Keith Jackson saying, but a tie's like is kissing your sister, right? That's what they say. That's what they said, which is kind of more of a hockey thing. I'm going to call it a tie. We're going to go lucky, and we're going to go slobber knocker. All right? All right, everybody. Thanks for checking in on this post-game huddle here on the KHOU 11 Facebook page. Don't forget to tune into Sports Extra tonight at 10:30. Matt Musil, Daniel Gotera, Seth Payne from Sports Radio 610, the former Texan, who, by the way, got a shout-out today on the broadcast. I'm going to mention on the radio broadcast, when the Texans were called for defensive holding, Mark Vandermeer goes, wow, you don't see that very often. I think the first time I ever saw it called was against Seth Payne way back in 2005. So I think I'm going to mention that to Seth, and I think I know what he's going to say. I think he's going to say, I still maintain my innocence, but that would be my guess. So, all right, everybody, thanks for tuning into this post-game huddle. I'm Jason Bristol, and we'll see you tonight on Sports Extra.